Hey, Dr. Brian Kinsler here. I'm showing an exercise called a serratus slide. That's what's commonly called. It's a really helpful exercise, but I find it's often not done quite correctly. So a couple details I find make a big difference. So I'm going to show the technique I like, and then we'll break down some nuances. So I'm going to start at a wall. These are often done against a wall. And I'm going to start where I'm reaching out and my fingertips just graze the wall. From there, I'm going to bend my elbows and I'm going to push my elbows in a bit so my forearm is vertical or just tilting to the outside. From there, I'm going to brace my core a little bit so I don't arch my back, and I'm going to reach up and forward, trying to touch the wall with my fingertips about 1.5 feet above where I reached to start. And then as I do it, I'm trying to keep my thumbs pointed slightly out, bicep and crease of the elbow pointing up to the ceiling, not across. So go through that again. I'm going to start away from the wall, just grazing the fingertips, bend the elbows, get the elbows tilted slightly to the outside, and then bracing the core so I don't use my back. I'm going to reach to the wall at an angle about 1 foot to 1.5 feet above where I started. And then if that becomes easy, I can add a band. I can either go with a light band, just kind of lace between my fingers. Same thing. I'm not going to reach the wall because I got my fingertips are now in a fist, but I'm having that as a target. Or I can go with a mini band around the wrist light. The mini band is going to really try and drive my wrist and elbow out. So I can come here, coming out, and then I'm really trying to reach, and this gets pretty tough pretty quick. Okay, so why this setup? What do we have going on here? So the serratus is an upward rotator of the shoulder blade. So that's what helps us get full overhead motion. It's also a protractor. Protractor is coming forward. Coming forward in the shoulder is not inherently bad. We don't want to come forward and up into the neck, but allowing it to go forward is really helpful in a lot of circumstances, like pushing or reaching, which is we want for overhead motion, the shoulder blade to come forward and up. Then the rotator cuff, that helps with stabilizing the arm, the humerus in the shoulder socket, the glenoid, that we're going to activate with external rotation. So what I find, this exercise is oftenly done like against the wall, something like this. People either lean against the wall and now they're in some like awkward plank and they got a lot of friction, they can't get up the wall. So that doesn't always feel good. And so they end up shrugging to try to get some upward motion. Also, as we go up, the elbows tend to go out, which can shrug us up as well. Or as I come here and say, don't lean against the wall, people just lean with their low back. So I find with a commonly taught serratus slide, there's a lot of potential compensations, but the intent is really good. We want to get the rotator cuff and this important serratus muscle. So what I've found is if we stand arm's length from the wall, and then I come here, now I can't do that weird plank thing. And then having a diagonal target rather than a vertical target gets the protraction that I'm looking for. So if I just go vertical, it's easy to, again, shrug up. So if I get this diagonal motion, so I'm already starting from this distance from the wall, we're telling the brain I need to go forward, then that gets often the shoulder blade motion that I'm looking for. And I don't even have to touch the wall. Just having a target kind of 1 foot or 2 above where I start tends to get what I want. And then if I have somebody where they're painful to go here, well, then let's just start a little bit lower, or even just starting kind of horizontal. Just want to be far enough away that I can get that full protraction. And then the rotational component is external rotation helps activate or stabilize the shoulder and activate some of the rotator muscles. Internal rotation is thumbs down. External rotation is more of a thumbs up, palms up. When I bend the elbows, my elbow is vertical, not angled like that. So palm inside the elbow is internal rotation, often associated with shrugging up. If I more externally rotate, then I'm in more of a vertical forearm, and that's what I'm trying to maintain throughout this exercise. Adding a band just makes it harder because now the band is pulling me into internal rotation, and I need to stay in more of an externally rotated position. So I would not add a band if somebody can't maintain a vertical forearm and that externally rotated, so kind of palm, crease the elbow, bicep towards the ceiling through the whole time. So those are the key components. We want a little protraction without shrugging. We don't want to use the low back in any weird ways. That's why I said cue the low back tension. I don't want to lean against the wall, and I want to facilitate that upward motion. So, and then if you get the hang of it, you can do it away from a wall. So now that I know the motion, I can come here, little brace, and I'm coming up like that, and I'm really trying to reach the arms nice and long. And that starts to be pretty challenging, and I'm not tied to the wall anymore, but the brain often coordinates movement in the context of an external cue. So something outside the body is helpful for learning a movement. So a wall can be really helpful because I want to really reach and get to the wall. And so that's why I think these are often done on a wall to start. So give that a shot. I like that technique a lot better than kind of lining up here. Sometimes there's a foam roller, which I've done before, but I've started to just go away from all of that and kind of cue, boom, I'm right into it. Should feel a lot of work in the back of the shoulder and kind of into the flank, kind of back of the armpit area. That's where the serratus is. It's underneath the lat. And so we want to feel the work there, not pain or work or too much tension in the front of the shoulder or in the neck.